Hello Scorpio, my name is Jason. This is your general tarot reading for March 2019. Thank you for visiting my channel. Extra thanks if you're revisiting. This is a general reading, so it could be about love, career, questions at the forefront of your mind. You'll know in the first couple of minutes, I would say, if this is resonating for you. If it is or if it isn't, please go ahead and check out my readings for your rising and moon signs also. I think pretty sure you'll find something which might fill in some gaps for you. So today we've got a Celtic cross spread. So we'll do 10 cards and then we'll clarify which ones we feel like we need to clarify. Okay, so for the moment, you go into this period with the 8 of Wands, okay? What's crossing you is the 3 of Pentacles. Your conscious goal, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Your unknown influence, the 9 of Wands. Your past influence, you have the 2 of Swords. Your future influence or coming influence, you have the Page of Swords. What talents and skills are you bringing to the situation? You have the King of Swords. Your environment and how the world sees you, how you see the world and your place in it, you have the Queen of Cups. It's a nice card to have. This is looking pretty good. Okay, your hopes and fears, you have the High Priestess. And in your outcome position, you have the 5 of Cups. Okay, that'll be interesting to have a look and find out what comes about the 5 of Cups. So what I'm seeing here at the beginning, where you are now with the 8 of Wands, it looks like there's been a lot of communication with someone or with a group, and a lot of emailing, a lot of backwards and forwards I'm seeing, and perhaps you've been feeling under a bit of pressure to get lots of documents in to answer certain questions. So maybe you've had to do some research into and chasing down people for various documents, pieces of paper, answers to questions, things like that's what I'm seeing. Okay, so that looks like that's been keeping you pretty busy. I'm not feeling that I'm feeling that it is toward a quite a positive goal, so you don't mind doing this. What's getting in your way or what's crossing you here, you have the 3 of Pentacles. So the 3 of Pentacles talks about teamwork, talks about having to work with others, and talks about having to follow some kind of a plan as well. What I'm seeing here, you see the person standing on the bench talking to those 2 people. Now what that person has looks like almost like a loudspeaker, or it looks to me like an empty cup. There's nothing in that cup that what this person seems to be offering. So just you might need to be wary of this person when you're following your plans. If you have a look at the 2 people down below, there's a monk and that lady there, and they have some plans which it looks like they're trying to perhaps build something, or so perhaps you have a building process moving along, and it's either building or something to do with some kind of a project that you're working on, and it's almost like there's 3's a crowd here. There's some kind of person maybe not pulling their weight or something like that is happening, but we'll have a look at that. Now where are we? Yes, in your conscious goal you have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is where you want to be. So this Queen of Pentacles reminds me of quite a stable woman. She's got everything under control. She has her status. She's got a beautiful household. Her relationships are all in order. And she is materially quite abundant as well. If you have a look at her, she's sitting down looking at that pentacle at the moment. So perhaps there's a financial reward that you have coming from this planning and this project that you have on. And you'll see that around her, she has the branches, that lush greenery. So this seems to be what you're heading for. So all this communication perhaps is for something which is going to enrich your life somehow. So it could be domestically, or it could be financially, usually, because the Queen of Pentacles and the Pentacles generally represent financial and material matters. So it looks like you've been working towards something which is going to really improve your your financial situation, your domestic situation. But we'll have a look at this. We'll clarify some of this a little more closely. Now, the unknown influence, you have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so the Nine of Wands here is telling me that, well, if you have a look at this person, okay, they've been in the wars, they've got a lot of experience, they're getting a bit tired and weary. If you have a look at this guy, he's not looking totally energetic, but he knows what he's doing. He's done it before, so perhaps you're just being feeling a little overwhelmed or a little bit over all this paperwork stuff. But because it's in your unknown influence position, perhaps there's going to be another thing thrown at you which you're not quite suspecting yet. So just when you thought it was time to just take a rest like this guy is, something else might come up. But you can see the light at the end of the tunnel here, and you've made the decision to just keep chipping away and do whatever's required to get to this goal, almost now, however long it takes, almost. Excuse me, I'm just going to pick up, I've just dropped your Two of Swords, which was the next card we were looking at. So in your recent past, you have the Two of Swords. So what I'm getting from here is you've had to make a decision, and you made a decision perhaps without knowing all the details, and you didn't really feel good about making this decision. Perhaps it was after a time of struggle. So I'm seeing here that this person, perhaps they've come across that water, those rough waters, through those rocks and that tricky situation, and now they're on dry land, and they've come to the dry land and they've had to make a decision one way or another. Now you see that decision was based without having all the information. That's why she's blindfolded, and the moon above her is representing, for me, mystery. And because she's crossing her arms over her chest, it looks like she needed to make this decision protecting herself, perhaps emotionally or perhaps for some other reason, but we'll have a look at that. So that's in the recent past anyway. So it looks like a decision has been made and you're moving forward with it, but we'll have a look and see what might happen there. Okay, your future position, you have the Page of Wands, the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords quite often talks about having to do some research, having to do some learning. You might have to do some spying on someone, or perhaps someone will be spying on you. If you're going for a job, for example, you might need to research a company. But I'm feeling that this is more about finding out a little bit more about something that you're interested in. So it might be something which most people don't normally do, sort of could be a bit unconventional. So if you see this character here and that he's facing one way and the trees in the background seem to be blowing the other way, and so this person is like taking a challenge. They might be inexperienced at something, but it's like you want to go ahead and do it because of the freedom it will give you. I'm seeing the birds flying around just above this character's head, and the birds for me are saying, well, they're free and they can do something. Perhaps this study, perhaps this going against the societal trend or the mainstream here is giving you that sense of freedom, and you're prepared to make mistakes. This is only a page, so he doesn't have that stability of a king, and he's prepared to make lots of mistakes, and it feels like you are too. So whatever you're working on or striving towards, you know that this could be a little bit fraught with some dangers and some risks, and it looks like you've just been prepared to make that and take that risk. And that's what this Two of Swords energy I'm feeling was all about. It was about, not knowing whether to just take the leap of faith, and you have taken the leap, and it's looking really promising for you emotionally. Okay, we'll have a look more closely. I haven't really seen anything about any outcomes here yet. We'll see something here, but it's looking like you've really just let go of something and decided that you're just going to change your life and go this one way. You don't have any major arcana here that I can see at the moment, except for the High Priestess up here. We'll have a look where this goes. You are bringing at the moment the King of Swords energy. So you seem to have some clarity. You are quite clear now. So something's just clicked with you, perhaps in the last full moon, and you've made this realization, you've had this epiphany that this is now where your direction is. You sort of had a vague idea before, and you knew you were heading in the right direction, and things have just become clearer and clearer. And perhaps you've woken up in the middle of the night and just had this great idea, and you've realized, snap, now I know. And so you're very clear, and it looks like you're ready to speak and live your truth. And you're feeling that this is it's a practical decision you're making based on your passion. So congratulations on making this very firm direction for yourself, if you like. And your environment and your relationship to the world around you, you have the Queen of Cups. So it looks like the world is seeing you as someone who is emotionally available, very intuitive, a wonderful shoulder to cry on, and quite popular, psychic perhaps, and perhaps you're moving into this realm. Perhaps you've got yourself a reputation as being very intuitive, very loving kind of a person, and people are almost in awe of you, I'm thinking, for some of the ways that you live your life, or the direction that you've taken, which is perhaps like a spiritual path. The Queen of Cups to me speaks a lot about spirituality. So, and this is how the world is seeing you. So I'm feeling that you're getting yourself a reputation somehow, and it's building, and it's quite a solid reputation for what it is, and it's one of being an emotionally available and supportive kind of a person. So whatever, if you're moving into that, maybe some kind of a healing industry or some light work, or it could even be like something like a school teacher or a psychologist or something like that, that you're really starting to feel that you're being recognized in this way in your field. Now, your hopes and fears. Okay, you have the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is another highly intuitive card, and it's looking like you may be heading towards a healing kind of a career or a pastime or a hobby, and you really want to learn a little bit more about spirituality. So I'm feeling that you've recently been exposed to a new angle of spirituality, or some lights have really gone on, and you've just discovered perhaps that we're all connected, or that so much of our lives are connected to the 5D, or between the 3D and the 5D. If you have a look at this priestess here, she's sitting between the two columns, and the one column represents the spiritual world, and the other column represents the 3D world. And this person sits in the middle of both, and she seems to live her life, and she's very balanced spiritually and in practical matters as well. So I'm seeing that you're aiming to become more spiritual somehow, even if the word detached is coming. So perhaps you've realized that you need to let go just a little bit of these worldly concerns, and maybe concentrate a bit more about the perspective you're taking to your life and to things around you. I'm feeling you got to a point where it was just, all this just emotional stuff going around in my head's just too much, and so it looks like you're aiming to detach yourself somehow, or you're looking for another way to look at things. Now, your outcome, you have the Five of Cups. Now, the Five of Cups is generally a card of regret. It can be a card of looking back in the past. It can be a card of sulking. Okay, it can be a card of not seeing the opportunities. Okay, so I'm thinking you want to be careful that you don't miss your opportunities here. Okay, so I'm getting that. I don't want to say that you're going to be sulking and miserable at the end of the month. Nothing's coming to me yet about what this means, but the word opportunities standing out. So we'll clarify anyway. We'll clarify a few of these cards, and we'll see where we're heading with these. But you started off with the the Eight of Wands. So lots of communications backwards and forwards, and I'm thinking it's something about this building project or some project you've got on, some initiative you've taken which is going to provide you some kind of stability, emotional stability, financial stability. Perhaps working from home is something there, and so you're spending a lot more time on the screen or the computer than you might otherwise, or different kinds of things you're doing on the computer. We'll have a look here. So why is the Eight of Wands here? What's the Eight of Wands here for Scorpio in March 2019? Okay, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so the Five of Pentacles is a card of being, it can be a card of being left out in the cold. But what I'm thinking this is a card of moving away from the traditional way. So these people here, they're outside the church and they're moving beyond that. Yes, they might be a bit injured, so they've had to take a loss somehow. So perhaps you've given up a good job or a well-paying job to go towards what you believe in, which is not necessarily a better paying job, but it's something which is more up your line, your path, if you like. But this path seems to perhaps go against what many people around you might be thinking is a good thing. And a lot of these communications are about this new business I'm thinking, okay? So if it's a new business or if it's a new hobby you've got or a new interest that you've got, and some people might be saying, oh, that's a bit strange, it's a bit weird, but it looks like you've been doing a lot of emailing, texting, maybe making some flyers or documents, or you're part of a group which is doing this. Are you organising some kind of a fair or a fete or something, some kind of event which might have to do with alternative therapies, that kind of thing? Okay, we'll have a look and find out what is this Queen of Pentacles about. So your conscious goal seems to be this abundance, of course, and what a great goal to have. And it's something to do with this event that you've got going on, or this project that you've got on. And a couple of cards have come out here, both cups. Yes, okay, so you've got the Ace of Cups. So this looks like a new start for you. Okay, so the Ace of Cups is saying this is an opportunity from the universe to really go for emotional fulfillment. And so when I talked about you perhaps walking away and going against something, this is looking like you have done that, but you're doing it for emotional stability, and you're just following an opportunity. And you also have the King of Cups. And so I'm thinking that this person, so a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio person, perhaps an older person, will be helping you here somehow, or they will have a part in this, and they might be able to contribute a lot more than you first thought. Okay, so that's why I'm feeling this is actually a person. I don't think it's your energy. I think it's someone around you. If it's not a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, it'll be someone who's got their emotional stuff together, and they're quite stable, and it's like they've seen the light somehow, or they can lead you somewhere. Okay, so that's looking what that is. I don't think I can clarify that much more clearly. And but we're having a look down here at the unknown influence, and you have the Nine of Wands, which might be, not so much a stick in the mud, but something that you might not be looking forward to, or it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just another piece of paperwork, or it might be something about a license you have to get, or some kind of insurance, or some kind of stuff you've got to fill out, and maybe you fill it out once and they send it back and say do it again, or something like that. And, let's have a look at the Nine of Wands. Why is the Nine of Wands here for Scorpio? And you have the Hanged Man. Yeah, okay, so it's a waiting around, lots of waiting, I'm thinking. So you might be having to wait for the processes to go through. Um, Again, some kind of a government department or a large organisation might be slowing you down a bit. That's what I'm feeling there. The hangman usually talks about waiting for your next big idea. So perhaps you are just at you're waiting now for your next big idea. What's the next move almost? Okay, and so you might get a bit of time, and through meditating, something will come to you, and I'm feeling it'll come to you quite quickly, and there'll just be an opportunity present itself, and you won't see it initially, but then you'll realise, yes, this is a great idea, and so I'm liking the idea. Have a look. See around the hanged man's head there. He's got that light bulbish sort of light, so a great idea is going to come to him. And I'm just feeling, because it's in your unknown influence position, you don't want to miss it. Okay, it might be easy to miss that opportunity. Okay, now this Two of Swords in the recent past, and we know that you made a decision to go off on your own or without having all the details or having an uncertain future, or and you've decided to go for it. Okay, so why is that there? Why is the Two of Swords here? And you have Eight of Rods again. Okay, so the Eight of Rods does talk about communications. So you got some communications, some emails, and something came to you which allowed you to move forward. I'm also thinking perhaps this was you had a rough communication with someone or an argument with someone, and it helped you make this decision. So a few things have fallen into place for you, and you realised that now is the time. Now, I'm getting a feeling also, because this is the Eight of Wands or the Eight of Rods, this job requires you, or this path requires a lot of work on the internet. So, Facebook and Instagram or social media, that kind of thing. I'm feeling that this new path is requiring you to spend a lot more time on those things, if you like. So YouTube channel, like so many of us have these days, a lot more, like a Facebook page you might have to set up, something like that. And your future position, remember we had the Page of Swords, and you've gone this direction, you're learning as you go, you know you're going to make mistakes, you don't care too much because it's giving you the freedom, okay? But whatever you're doing might be going against what other people find would be the norm for you, and I'm getting the feeling that people wouldn't expect you to go this way. So people who sort of may have known you a couple of years ago perhaps, and if you'd have told them what you're doing now, they almost wouldn't believe you. Let's have a look. Why is the Page of Swords here? And you have the Four of Swords. Okay, so the Four of Swords talks about just meditating, taking a rest, okay, and reflecting on whether this is the right path for you. And so when I talked about research before and finding the way, because you are fairly inexperienced by the sound of it, okay, you might need to just meditate here to find the answers, and those answers will come to you if you really just ask the universe. I'm really feeling that that will guide you through. It's going to give you clarity and help you through these sticky situations, or you are going to have some setbacks, if you like, and meditation will, if nothing else, is going to help you know how to handle those setbacks and move forward from there. Okay, let's have a look. The King of Swords here, we talked about the talent that you're bringing. You are quite straightforward in your thinking right now. You're quite clear after realising something's just hit you, perhaps in the middle of the night, and you realise it's a good idea, and that confirmed for you that you are on the right path. Okay, So what a great feeling to have. This and it's not mired by emotion. This is like a logical decision, even though it's providing you emotional fulfillment. Okay, so the Queen of Cups, again, the Queen of Cups, the world seems to be seeing you as this kind of this energy, as having this energy of just being the shoulder to cry on, the go-to person for some understanding or this new line you're moving into, a very maternal kind of energy, intuitive, almost psychic. So I don't really need to feel like I'm drawn to that. But let's have a look at this High Priestess here. You're hoping to get some spiritual enlightenment from something that you're doing. And we'll have a look. Why is a High Priestess here in the hopes and fears for Scorpio for March? Okay, and you've got the Moon card. So the High Priestess, which is quite a mysterious card, talks about secrets, clarified by the Moon. Okay, so there's some kind of evolution happening here for you, some kind of growth, and you're really looking forward to it. So you have a look at this, the lobster, just the crab down the bottom, just trying to come out of that water, the murky depths there, and get past and up and onto that path. And this is what you're doing now. You're trying to get up past those dogs and onto that path towards the mountain in the distance, if you like. So yes, you're coming out of the dark and into the light, and that's what it seems to be saying here. And perhaps there's something about a full moon. So something happens around a full moon, or around the full moon coming up in a few weeks now. Something is going to click with you again. Okay, so that's basically enlightenment. Okay, and so that's confirmed what we were saying there about that. Now, I'm not concerned, but just perplexed by why the Five of Cups is here. I had that idea of opportunity and missing opportunity, and we talked about missing opportunities down here, perhaps with the Hanged Man waiting for something to come, but you've got to sort of look for it, because it's only see how the Hanged Man is only a faint light. It's not a bright light, and so the idea is there. It just needs a bit of development. So why is the Five of Cups here for Scorpio in the outcome position? Please clarify the Five of Cups. Okay, yes, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles is someone who brings a message. It could be your energy, and it's about money. It's about financial security. You need to keep an eye out for these opportunities which arise. I'm thinking like ways to market yourself, ways to get yourself out there. Okay, and that's going to be a challenge for you, knowing how to do this the right way. You're inexperienced with it, but once people know you, I'm feeling people trust the Knight of Pentacles. He's quite a trustworthy character, and people see that he's going somewhere, and he's a long-term kind of person. So if this is your energy, or the energies you're asked to sort of embrace here, that's what I'm getting. Try not to be discouraged by the slowness, because the Knight of Pentacles is quite a slow knight, but he's very sure-footed, and he learns as he goes and learns from his mistakes. And those fields behind him will eventually be lush and full. So that's what I've got for you, Scorpio. Please let me know if this has resonated for you and how it resonates. Also, please have a look at your moon and rising sign readings. I'm sure something will maybe fill in some gaps there for you, but it's looking pretty good, and you've got a great new direction. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully talk to you in a couple of weeks.